Hey guys, it's Ian here with HobbiesofaMan once again, and today we're going to be doing another manga review. Today we're going to be looking at Spy Family number 5 and number 6, and covering the 8th arc of the series, which is called the CAMPBELLDON tennis arc. The series is written by Tatsuya Endo, as you guys are familiar with. It's published by Viz, so you guys can see it right there. The demographic is a shonen. The genres here are action and comedy, and it does have adaptation. It's quite good. And this part of the story is in the first season. I think it's like chapters episodes like 14 and 15 or something like that. And the rating for this is a 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was nearly perfect. It was quite funny. But I feel like the ending of the arc could have been a little bit longer. There could have been a little bit more going on with some of the elements that happened here, right? So yeah, I do want to mention, kind of where this arc starts and where it ends. So in volume 5, the arc actually starts nearly at the end, right? With chapter 29. And goes again up to like nearly the end of volume 6, up to chapter 36, right? So it's about 6 chapters. 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. So 7 chapters, 8 chapters, whatever. I always forget how counting works, apparently. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. The point is from 29 to 36, right? And so the premise here is that we get introduced to Fiona, which we actually met last time, but we didn't know that she was actually an agent as well. Her name is Midnight. That's her code name. And she is someone that is deeply in love with with Lloyd, with Twilight, for an interesting reason here. Maybe it's not okay, actually, because she's like his subordinate. He was her teacher. And so the romance aspect here is quite weird, because I don't really know their age difference, but it's really quite funny. So it works out pretty well. And basically the thing is that Fiona is his co-worker, and she needs his help on a mission in order to find this special information that was hidden away, kind of like national treasure kind of style. And she needs him to help her with this mission in order to find it so they can avoid restarting the war, right? And in order to infiltrate this place to get this information, they have to go into a tennis tournament. And it's ridiculous and funny, and it's really enjoyable, right? So in terms of plotline here, basically we start with Anya, who has to do an essay on her parents' work, and she chooses to do an essay on Lloyd's work because she's kind of scared of yours, right? So she goes with Lloyd to the hospital. They go to the psych ward, and there's kind of these really cute interactions here. We get a proper introduction to Fiona Frost, who is a secretary to Lloyd in this case, but also actually is his co-worker in his real job. And the report is ridiculous and crazy, and Lloyd has to answer a lot of uncomfortable questions, and it's quite funny, right? Then Fiona finds this mission, gets it assigned, and forces the handler to assign Lloyd as well. And she uses this opportunity to actually try to get Yor to quit the Strix mission, although I don't think she's aware that Yor doesn't actually know that it's a mission. She just knows that it's it's something that they're okay with together, right? Like they are okay with this fake relationship. But I don't think Fiona knows that, right? So Fiona tries to get Yor to quit. It doesn't really work because Yor doesn't really understand what's going on, basically. And then she asks Lloyd for help. Anya mind reads the situation properly, and there's this hilarious gag here where basically it just turns out that Midnight is like insanely like in love with Lloyd to like a ridiculous degree, and Anya just sees that, and it's really fucking hilarious. I think that gag is phenomenal. It's so funny, and I like it a lot. And so we move on from that. Lloyd decides to join Fiona on the job. Then that's kind of the end of volume 5. We get a short mission here and a little bit of an intermission here, which is Bond fighting Anya's penguin plushie. He gets jealous of it and he destroys it, and then Lloyd fixes it, and Anya forces Bond and the penguin to make amends with each other, and it's quite cute and funny, and I really liked it. Then we continue on with the story here. So Campbell is the guy that they're after. He happens to have a special painting that has a coded message in the back, and they need to get it. And in order to do so, they have to infiltrate this underground tennis rink and tennis tournament in order to get his approval so that they can steal something from him, right? And so we get this crazy situation here where Lloyd and Midnight fight in this tennis tournament, right? So their first opponent is these crazy roided out dudes. They look insane, and it's quite a funny fight. Then these like old dirty pros that cheat. And then finally, Cabby Campbell's own children, who happen to have special tools and everything set in their favor for them to win. And Lloyd and Midnight happen to have the skills necessary to overcome all of these challenges, and so manage to win. And it changes the life of those twins, and it also kind of ruins Cabby Campbell's day a little bit, right? So, yeah, the section here where they fight against the Campbell twins is probably the best part of the arc, besides Anya's gag. And so I recommend that you guys pay special attention to this portion while you're reading it, because it's pretty fun, right? But I don't really want to talk about it too much, because I don't think that it's necessary to mention every little detail about it in this case, right? And so they win. They manage to get into his good graces. They manage to get him to give them something. However, at the last second, it turns out that he can't give them the painting that they need because someone else has already claimed it. And so they actually end up stealing it, right? Again, very similar to the way that they do it in National Treasure when they steal the Declaration of Independence. Good reference, good callback. It was fun. I like that. And they managed to succeed in their mission. It turns out that this information was BS. It didn't actually relate to war. It related to a dude and his wife and their marital problems, right? So that's pretty funny. It's kind of a nice inversion. It's kind of ironic, but also quite good. And then Lloyd and Yor deal with Yor's feelings about the fact that she might be replaceable because there might be other women that might fit Lloyd's needs better, right? And there's almost this kind of idea that they're going to try to actually date for real, but then Yor gets so flustered that she punches or kicks Lloyd in the face and makes his chin grow out really funny, and I like it. It's almost like a Lupin the Third gag, which is great. And then we get Yor versus Fiona in like this quick little tennis match. And I think that's actually why I didn't give this a 5 out of 5. I think that situation should have lasted longer. The fact that it was like 2 seconds and then Fiona realizes, oh, she's too strong for me and runs away crying is funny, but I feel like there could have been more to it, right? There could have been a secondary kind of bigger plotline here, or maybe a tertiary plotline, since the second one is actually Anya's report, right? That could have been a bit better, right? But it's not really a major complaint. It's just kind of like, I wish that was a little bit longer, right? So, yeah. So that's it for the plotline. In terms of characters, we get introduced to Cabby Campbell and the Campbell twins. I can't really remember their names. They're not important. Who cares? Fiona Frost is the most important character that we kind of get here. And of course, we get some growth in Yor and Lloyd's relationship. And this arc and the kind of ideas behind it are actually quite similar to the movie Code White, right? So if you have recently read this, which I recommend you read up to this point before watching the movie, you might actually feel like the movie is quite similar to kind of the overall idea of this arc, right? And I guess that's true, but they're significantly different enough that I don't really feel like there's any problems with it, right? Like I think that there's a certain level of comfort that comes from the fact that, you know, it is kind of similar, right? So yeah, but those are my thoughts there personally. In terms of world building, we learned a little bit more about the wise agents. We know that there's more of them. We know that they work in teams sometimes when it's necessary, and we learned that they have to teach each other, right? So it's not that much information, but it's quite meaningful because it grows out the organization quite a bit. So I like that. In terms of art and fan service, I mean, there's a lot of cute outfits. There's no fan service, to be honest with you. And the artwork is amazing. Tetsuya Endo really shows off their ability to do action in this arc here. So I really liked it. I think it was very, very good. And like I said, a rating 4.5 out of 5. A really amazing set of gags here, but the final bit of storytelling felt a bit weak to me, right? So those are my thoughts on Spy Family arc number 8, the Campbellton tennis arc. Let me know what you guys thought down below. Thank you guys very much for watching, and see you guys later.